In 2022, Gran Turismo 7 brought us the Porsche Esports Challenge USA. That's right, if you were in the US, you got to compete in a series of races for a chance to go to Indianapolis, Indiana, and race live. There were also 4 contestants that went to dealerships across the country and also qualified, and they joined those 12 in Indianapolis. After all was said and done, Randall Haywood took the top spot and $15,000 from the Porsche Esports Challenge. And this year, Porsche has upped the game. In 2023, the Porsche Esports Challenge is worth $30,000. And if you're in the U.S. region, you can go to sport mode and join the series right here. When in sport mode, just click on the Porsche Esports Challenge USA 2023 thumbnail. That'll bring you into a time trial. There are 3 time trials. You have to finish in the top 4 of any of those 3 time trials to qualify. And if you can't make it in a time trial, you do have a chance at a local Porsche dealership. Check the Gran Turismo homepage for those dates and details for which dealerships will be holding those events. Now, let's get on to that first time trial for the Porsche Esports Challenge 2023. For the first time trial, Porsche chose the iconic 5-liter V12 Porsche 917K. Their first victory at Le Mans came in this very car, a variant of the original 917 that debuted in 1969. That variant proved to be extremely unstable in 1969, the long tail actually providing lift as it reached top speed. Not good if you're a race car driver, had the rear end floating around on you, folks. And I tell you what, they did get it squared away, though, in 1970, and that car took the championship at Le Mans. So that is the car we are going to be racing, and I got to tell you, this thing is a handful. But old Grady didn't know that jumping into it, and jump into it I did. I was super excited to get this thing started. Got into my 917K and headed towards the Ford chicane. Coming through there, I was like, yeah, it's feeling a little sluggish, a little boat-like through here, and I'm struggling to get that front end to bite and turn as I go through the Ford chicane. I'm like, hey, not a big deal. Old Grady will figure it out. I've been around Le Mans many times, done some endurance races here, very familiar with the track. Get over to the left side, trying to open up this corner a little bit, and boy, she just did not want to turn in. Boys, you start to turn in, you feel the back end come around. You're like, ooh, she didn't like that much at all, so I'm going to give her another go. So certainly I can get through the Ford chicane without any trouble on my second attempt here at Le Mans. Well, just a little too much loud pedal. And by a little, I mean a lot too much loud pedal. So we go at it again, this time heading down towards the Dunlop curve, and didn't really hold on there. Boy, that rear end wanting to come out so easy as you turn in. So now I said, well, maybe I need to drive it from cockpit view. Maybe I get a better feel for the center of gravity of the car, really be able to know when it's rotating. And I get a penalty. And so I said, well, I'm going to get a little feel for the car. Well, 4th attempt. Nope, dead. I'll tell you what, Mr. MCA had it right when he said this car absolutely wants to kill you everywhere. How about coming through the end of the Mulsanne here at the kink? As you can see, no lap record. And I think this was like my 10th or 11th try. I can't even remember. Lost count, but somewhere about 40 minutes into the time trial, I finally completed a lap for a 3:52, 9:89 or something like that. 12 seconds off the top time. But do not fret, do not fear. Go Grady was actually able to put in a halfway decent lap, sitting on a 3:45.871, my previous best time before this, my fastest lap at Le Mans in the 917K. Cut a little bit of that right corner. Keep the car nice and stable. Cut as much as I can going through the chicane, heading towards the big Dunlop sign, getting on the throttles gingerly as I can, rolling it up into 3rd gear, keeping it tight down to the right. Boy, if you got it careful through that left-hander, you'll fly off track. Down into 2nd gear in this left-hander, in the S's. Again, trying to keep it close to the curves through there and being careful of that little hump I just went over. Into 3rd, cut as much as I can through Tete Rouge as we head back on to the Molson Straight. And you would think, my goodness, Grady, it is finally time for you to relax a little bit as we've got a nice long shot before this first chicane. But I got to tell you, you're breathing and gripping that wheel pretty hard coming through all those S's and curves. And, well, it's honestly just not enough time to recover before the first chicane. because you have got to get on the brakes right about here, and you are on it hard. Now, you want to cut this entrance. I did not quite cut it right. Probably lost a good bit of time there. Can cut more of that left side of the curbing. Didn't do so. Did get a nice cut on the exit of the chicane, that first chicane, and now we're heading back up through the middle section of the Mulsanne towards chicane number 2. And once again, you think it would be time to relax, but there is no time to relax in the 917K at Le Mans. I have no idea how they drove this car for 24 hours. Absolutely insane to me. Dropping the anchor there at the 200 board. We're going to try and stick it down to the inside and carry as much speed as I can through this corner, backside that apex, get back on the throttle, up into second, cut some curbing. Got to be super careful on that curbing, as it will destroy you and your lap. And you got to be careful on that exit that you don't touch that dirt. It'll pull you in the chicane. Now, as we come towards the end of the Mulsanne straight towards the hairpin, you have got to brake in a straight line, or once again the car will throw you off track and end your lap in total and complete misery. Second gear on the exit, powering out. Now gonna just take a deep breath and think, I've got Indianapolis coming, the hardest corner on the track. You brake too late and you're either going to fly off the left or you're going to fly off the right. And then once you get on the brakes, you start to make the turn. It's the rear end of the car is going to want to come around on you and wreck you there. So you got to be super careful coming through here. I got on the brakes, cut it to the right as much as I could, then into second gear and trying to put it down in on the apex, using as much of that banking as I could. Now we just got to get through Arnage, hitting the brakes hard there at the second to last billboard on the right-hand side, powering out in second gear, and now you got to start thinking about the Porsche curves that are coming up, and they're coming up fast. And you're going to have to get over the left-hand side and look for the 100-meter board and really got to brake in a straight line while trying to get a little bit of angle towards the apex on your right-hand side. So getting on the brakes there, and she's going straight, and you can feel the car wanting to push straight. If you turn in too quick, you can feel that rear of the car wanting to swing around on you. You're just trying to keep the tires in the slip angle with just a slight amount of drift, but not too much, but just enough to balance the car. But you got to keep it really tight on the curbs as you're coming through here. Then you got to sling it back to the left and power out without going too wide and going off track here, getting your tires dirty, maybe getting a penalty. So much to do through here. It looks so easy, but it is so difficult to balance this car through the corners. Hitting the brakes really hard there at the pit entrance, getting into the chicanes, heading through the final chicane here at Le Mans. Just got to get through here, get back on the power and put it in a straight line towards the finish line and pull my fastest lap of 35.413. When it was all said and done, that will be good for 55th in the USA. There's your top 4 finishers. They'll be going on to Indianapolis. Now the question is, what does the top lap look like? Well, let's go look at Lamb's lap and see how he put it down. I got to tell you what, it is a thing of beauty. All right, here we go, heading towards the first right-hander. Look how wide he gets over here, right on the line, cuts it back, gets a lot of the curbing on the right-hand side, and is braking as straight a line as possible and cuts a huge chunk of this curb. Again, look how gingerly rolls in the throttle there in second gear, grabs third. Now he's going to get back over the right quickly, like I mentioned before, but again, cutting as much curbing as possible, cutting all of that distance, grabbing every 100,000th of a second that he can. Now into third gear, now remember I warned you about the hump. Notice he feathered the throttle right there, coming over the hump, then cuts the curb on the right-hand side, carries about 103, 104 through there, which is pretty decent now coming down the Mulsanne straight. So let's fast forward here and see how he handles the chicane. He'll brake right about the 200-meter board. Now watch how far over to the right he gets, almost completely off the track. Then again, just avoiding a penalty. He takes as much of the curve away, straightens it out as much as possible, and shortens the distance as well. Also gives him a really nice line for the exit, carrying just a ton of speed down this middle section of the Mulsanne straight. And I got to tell you, the way he went over those curves is super impressive, because this car is just so hard to handle and keep from spinning out, just keeping it balanced. Now, I thought he would have gotten a penalty right there, but man almighty, he cut as much of that as you possibly can without getting a penalty. Very impressive all the way through that section of chicane. Clearly the top guys were just willing to cut more track than I was, because I was just scared to death of those curbs in that chicane. I thought I just wasn't going to survive. Now again here, he brakes in a straight line, very similar to how I did it through this corner. felt like I did pretty good through that section of the track. 1 corner, Grady, good job. No, my exit out of the S's was pretty decent too. So 2 corners, I think I did pretty decent on that. Heading towards Indianapolis, this corner, I absolutely, like I said, I just struggled with. So we'll see how Lamb takes it through here as he is fast approaching that corner. He's going to drop it there right about where those plants are on the end. But look at it. See, he gets a little drifty with the rear end and able to rotate it and catch it. Very hard to catch in this car. So outstanding job of car control. That's one part of the game that a lot of people don't mention when they're talking about how you get faster in sim racing. We'll talk about using all the track. They'll talk about trail braking. One thing they just rarely ever talk about is simple car control. How good are you at catching a slide? How good are you at drifting the car or just keeping it in that slip angle? Braking there at the 100-meter board, holding it in tight. Look at, he doesn't miss his apex. Able to pull 107 on the entrance there. I was around 98, so 9 more miles an hour on that entrance. Look how he drifts it. So that's what I'm talking about. That's the car control. That's where he put the rear end out, caught it, and just slip angled those tires just right into the correct spot to be able to power out. So excellent job there. I mean, that's why he's a world tour driver, and I'm a guy making GT videos for free, you know. So look at this, through the chicane, not a problem, super smooth, just cutting as much of the chicane as he can, keeping his miles per hour up. He's got this lap nailed. Coming out, must be a great feeling to cross that with a 3:40.897. So that was your top time. Outstanding lap there. So him and it looked like it was Heck and Randall Haywood and Windfire all going to the Porsche Cup to be in the live event. So congratulations to them. If you want to join this challenge, you will get that liveried Porsche that you saw, the special edition livery, the one that raced in the 1970 Le Mans race, that beautiful red and white livery. And heck, man, that is a very expensive car credit-wise, so it'd be nice to have in your garage just for doing a lap during the Porsche Challenge. So hope to see you on those leaderboards in the Porsche Challenge USA 2023. Hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like and or subscribe. Come back and check out some more. For myself, Go Gretty. Y'all have a great evening.